Hi, welcome to Crafty Little Things. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be making this super simple yet absolutely gorgeous wedding gift box for you today. What I've used for this is I've used a die to cut the Mr. and Mrs. This is the die, and you can find them online. And I've also used this gorgeous butterfly to cut my butterfly and the outline of the butterfly, which was sent to me by the lovely Martha. And I have got a parcel ready to send to Martha because goodness knows what happened to the last one I sent. And hopefully she'll get this one. What I've done is I've used silver foil and I've cut this out 3 times and glued it on top of each other. When the glue's dried properly, I'll just give it a little clean up. But it's still a bit wet at the minute. And for this one, what I did is I cut an outline, I cut a butterfly, and then I cut another butterfly, this one on the bottom. But for this one, I peeled off the backing paper, so it's almost like a fabric, and it just feels really light and gossamery. Okay, so I'm using some foiled DSP, which is more like cardstock for this one, and it's going to be a little box and a lid, and it's going to hold 2 scented candles that are in little glass, like little votives that are in little glasses, and it says Mr. and Mrs. And the 2 candles I've made, and they're made in, they're setting at the moment, and they're made in each person's favourite fragrance. So the woman's fragrance is a perfume, which I can't repeat, that she loves, and the men's is a men's fragrance that he loves. So yeah, it's been lovely to make those. So this measures 6 by 8 inches, which is 15.2 by 20.3 centimetres, and the lid measures 4 by 6, so that's 10.2 by 15.2. And then there's not a lot to this box because it's lined with, well, it's not lined with tissue, but it's got tissue around the inside. So yeah, I'm scoring it at 2 and 6. And I'm scoring the other side at 2 and 4. Yeah, because that's it. It's just a little dinky box like that. And then for the lid, I'm going to score it at 1 inch, but I'm just going to move it a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. I'm a bit rocky at the minute on here for some reason. So, oops. So 1, whoa, that went straight through the paper. 1, move it away from the edge. 1, move it away from the edge. 1, and move it away from the edge. That's just slightly, that just gives it enough to fit over the top. And that's all you have to do. And then you just get your bone folder and burnish those score lines. Now you could add a tag if you wanted to add a tag, but you don't have to. The lady who's asked me to make these has asked me to just pop a tag inside the box. It's like a little gift card in a little envelope. That's what she wanted. So it's really, 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 really simple, this then. We're just going to cut up the 2 ends. To the first score line. Sorry about the noise, there's been a football match and everybody parked in my street. Well, I think they parked everywhere, but okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich the ends as I usually do. so that on the inside it looks nice and flush, and it also looks nice and flush on the outside. It just gives it that little extra bit of width. Now I could have divided it into two, like I said, but it's not there. There's going to be like tissue, and then they're just settled into the tissue. And the tissue is stamped with their initials, so yeah, that's really nice. And then we're going to do the same with the lid. I did burnish those, didn't I? And that's just going to go it's going to go like that, so it is going to have the outside showing. There's no need to reinforce this because it is such a strong box anyway. The cardstock's so strong. So that's it. I am going to just notch in this central piece only because it takes away some bulk. It just helps things to fit in more nicely. This is the lovely side box. I mean, there's so many people. It's like an old boys club out there. And there we go, and that'll all glue together, and then that'll fit as the lid on top. Okay, so right, so I'm going to glue it together now then. So I'm going to just put some glue on the two end panels. This is a super easy, yeah, absolutely stunning box. Decide which one you want to use as your front, if there's any preference. Get that nice and flush there. And of course you can use any card or DSP that you choose. I'm just going to pop glue on these flaps here. Nice and flush. Those two little candles are going to go in there. Got a little overlap there just because it was my own fault for letting it slide. And then we're going to pop some glue on these flaps here. Have it closed down. And then that fits perfectly. I'm not going to push it because it does fit really snug, but I'm not going to push it because I want it to dry before I do that. But I don't think I need to push it anyway. It fits nice and tight, and the reason it fits nice and tight is I've allowed the extra 1/16 of an inch when we were trimming, when we were scoring the top. But because we've got like the double layers at the ends, that still keeps it nice and tight, but it keeps it in a nice shape. Okay. And so there's our lovely, lovely box. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little something to it. I've got this gold washi tape here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run the washi tape around the edges of the lid. I think it'd look really nice. Do you know, if this ever comes, this paper comes up on the clearance rack, my goodness, I'll be buying it. I can't remember if it was it a celebration? It can't have been a celebration gift. I think it was a summer, I can't remember. I think it was in the spring summer catalogue. Not sure. But look at that, lovely. That is gorgeous. The washi tape I got on the clearance rack, and that was part of, was it Year of Cheer or something? That looks absolutely stunning. It was stunning already without doing anything else to it. And now the Mr. and Mrs. I want that to fit across the top of the box there. Okay. And that's just going to glue on there. I'm just going to dot glue in strategic places. To get it to stick. And what you're going to have to be really careful of with this is that you don't let it slide. Oops, it's come down. Just going to press it like that. Can you see? Mr. and Mrs. It's like almost like it's embossed onto it. It's lovely. And then the butterfly is going to sit on the front of the box here. So when you lift the lid off, the butterfly comes with it. Okay, but it's going to be glued to the top of the box. So I'm just going to have this part, or shall I have it on the lid? I don't think you'd be able to see it if it was... No, I'm going to put it on the, I'm going to do what I was going to do, and that is pop it on the, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the top, the uppermost part of my butterfly and stick that to the top of the box, okay, because I don't want it to stick at the bottom. I mean, to make sure we don't, we can take it off altogether. And then of course this is only going to be stuck at the top as well. So just make sure your antennae are really nicely fastened on. And this is why I did the 2 layers really. So that the bottom layer could be stuck. And the top layer would be mobile. Okay. I'm just going to press it down from the back. You know, this is the beauty of handmade, is that you can do whatever you want. You couldn't factory make those, you just couldn't, because they're just too intricate, too delicate, too involved. And there we go. And that's just going to contain 2 gorgeous candles. Isn't that beautiful? What a lovely box. That one's come off there. Just needs a little bit of glue to stick that back down. And that looks like it's almost made of silver. So that's such an easy little project, and yet so beautiful. Just shows you with some nice materials. You don't need some nice materials and a little imagination. You don't need to be an amazing designer to create something beautiful. So that's that box then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.